Hello and welcome to Thursday Toys. Today we're making a shot that's sure to make your skin crawl and a look at every small version of the Skullcrawler that I could get my hands on. To make this hideous shot, you'll need a shooter glass, grenadine, bourbon cream, energy drink, and a special black sambuca concoction. No, not actual black sambuca, as that would make too much sense but also cost too much money. No, this black sambuca is made by combining sambuca with the worst jelly bean flavor ever invented. Get a container in which to mix everything, or a shot of sambuca. For every shot of sambuca, add in 2 black licorice jelly beans. Get another one here. A couple more. Third for good measure. And 2 more of these. Seal it up. Start shaking. It won't take long until the whole thing is turned black. Keep shaking it. Maybe let it sit overnight, and you'll have this black licorice concoction. In your shooter glass, fill it up about 1/3 of the way with the black sambuca. Maybe about there. Take your energy drink, add about another 1/3, then about 1/3 of bourbon cream, and just a heads up, it will curdle. That is by design. Then as a final touch, sink some grenadine into the bottom there. And enjoy. Today we're going to look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Skullcrawler figures that I was able to get my hands on. Yes, there is the large Star Ace statue and also the D for Real, just to name a couple more that you do not see here, but I like to keep mine in a much smaller scale. You may have seen these two in the Titanis Kong cocktail video, and you may have seen this one in the HG D plus 06 video, but here you'll get a better look at some comparisons. So let's start at the beginning with Lanard Toys. Available as a Walmart exclusive in 2017, this figure came in one of the Monarch Outpost sets put out by Lanard Toys in conjunction with the theatrical release of Kong Skull Island. It came with this Outpost hut and a mini Samuel L. Jackson figure. Other Outpost creatures included the giant spider and this creepy guy. Now, it's not the most movie accurate, I mean, look at these weird-ass legs, but it is the only one out of all the Skullcrawlers we're going to look at today to paint-wise match its on-screen appearance in Kong Skull Island. All the rest have that weird red and yellow color scheme that we saw in GVK. You've got some pretty good detail down the spine. This guy is getting harder and harder to find. When you do find him, you'll probably see some paint wear unless you get it mint in box, in which case you're going to have to shell out quite a lot of money. Otherwise, the paint and detail is not bad for what was originally a, like maybe $20 figure set. Got the little eye in there. The jaw is articulated, and I like how they sculpted it so that the upper teeth can fit into the lower jaw, so it can close fully and sit flush. Unfortunately, that is the only articulation on this guy. Here he is with the Playmates Skull Island Kong. Not the best scale, but we get what we get. Speaking of Playmates, when it came to Godzilla vs. Kong, they delivered. This guy boasts multiple points of articulation, battle damage, and an accessory. Mouth is on a hinge that can open really wide. Each arm or leg has a couple of points of articulation. You've got this hinge here, and then it can rotate all the way around. Same with the elbows. And the tail, which you do need to pop on yourself, can rotate all the way around. For the battle damage, there is this back piece that pops off, revealing a bloody spine below. This piece is in a solid rubber. It can pop right back on. And it stays in too, which I appreciate. Here you have a much more defined eyeball, but again we do have this red color scheme as seen in the movie. Also some slash marks on the back here. I've seen many amazing customs where people have painted this up like the Skull Island version, and it looks fantastic. It also came with a mini heave for some reason. I'm not complaining, because I really like this thing, but A, they're wildly out of scale, and B, they never shared any time on screen together. This looks awesome when paired with the Skull Island Kong, but is way out of scale with the GVK version. You can splay its arms out like in GVK, but it does not scale all that well with the 6-inch Mechagodzilla. So if you want to recreate that scene, you might have to go with a bigger Mechagodzilla. The Bandai one is a little bit bigger, but it has those closed fists and cannot hold on to the Skullcrawler's arms, which I'm sure is not a problem you ever thought you'd have. Then there was this set. Not official by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, check out this header card. These are Mexican knockoffs of Godzilla, Kong, Rodan, Warbat, and Skullcrawler. Now I know there were multiple versions of this set released in different colors, but this is the only one I was able to get my hands on. So you've got Godzilla, Kong, Warbat, Rodan, and the one we're here to look at today, the Skullcrawler. To me, this guy appears to be based on the Playmates figure, but completely resculpted. So they did not take the mold and scale it down, they just completely re-sculpted the figure. This is a rubber. It feels kind of like tire. Is tire rubber a separate kind of rubber? I don't know. It also kind of has that smell to it. It's got this sculpted underbelly, red eye, gold on the head, down the back, and on the claws. Lots of extra rubber flash. Not sure where this fits in my collection, but I kind of dig it. Also, how cool is this Rodan? Now, speaking of Playmates, they also released this little guy. And by released, I mean only in Hong Kong and Canada, I think. They also had a Godzilla, a Kong, a Warbat, a Hellhawk, and a Behemoth. In theory, these were supposed to show up at Walmart for, I don't know, $5-6. I was pretty sure these were going to show up at the Dollar Tree, but so far the only place they've shown up in the US is on eBay. They've recently released a multi-pack of each character just in one big set, so we'll see if that shows up. I may regret spending as much as I did on these, but let's crack it open. Now the cards for each of the characters are exactly the same, except for the plastic on the front does have the name embossed in it. It's not tied down, does not come with any other accessories. Here is our tiny Skullcrawler. You know, it does actually have some pretty nice detail. I mean, you can kind of see the individual teeth in there. But the paint, or lack thereof, does not do it any favors. As far as scaling goes, it's definitely too big for the Kong that came in the set, but it might work with the HG D plus 06 Mecha Godzilla. Grip it there. There we go. That works. Then you've got this thing. These were released as blind bags in stores like Hot Topic. I don't fully understand the appeal of these. They're flat, but also 3D, so they're not flat enough to be flat, but they're not 3D enough to like stand on their own. It's this weird mixture of both. Pick one or the other. What's ironic about this is I think this has the best detailing in terms of color of all the figures. You can see the yellow on the legs and the individual yellow stripes, whereas everything else is just red stripe with yellow stripes. Whereas everything else is just like this. You've got the red and then the two yellow stripes, and that's it. And if you want to, you can cut the keychain off and try to make this guy stand up somehow. Then we have the HG D plus 06 Skullcrawler figure. As far as detailing goes, I think this one wins. It came blind in a capsule with these smoke effect parts. If you want to know more about the rest of the set, you can check out this video. It is a little bit bigger than the mini Playmates. And it also has some incredible detail. I am really impressed. I'm less impressed by how the yellow just kind of stops here at the tail and then it just becomes that red stripe. But it does have this interesting spiky tail that we haven't seen on any of the other figures. And this guy can also feel Mechagodzilla's wrath. Last but not least, you have the Pit Monster. This tiny guy was released by NECA in 2021 along with one of their King Kong figure sets. This set, to be precise. Now I'm calling it Pit Monster and not Skullcrawler because, as you can see, they call it Pit Monster on the box. This creepy crawly appeared in the background of a scene from King Kong and is rumored to be the influence of the Skullcrawler design. Got the long tail, the two arms, no legs, and I appreciate NECA's attention to detail in that way, taking something tiny from the background and including it in a set. And as tiny as this guy is, it actually does have 2 points of articulation. You've got an opening and closing jaw, and the head is on a ball joint, so you do have some movement there. You've got some nice sharp teeth in there, and the level of detail you would expect with a NECA. And look at those scales. The set also came with this Pteranodon. And here's our Pit Monster scaled with Kong. Yeah, I think I will make one more of these. Now I realize I said a third earlier, but you're going to want a little less than a third, so you could fit that grenadine in there. Just about out of bourbon cream. Yep. There we go. Grenadine. Gross. Let's go. So with all these Skullcrawler options, I hope you can find one that fits your collection and your budget. As always, good luck on your hunt. Thanks for subscribing, and please drink responsibly. See you Thursday. Also, holy crap. Okay, so I'm putting this guy back in the box, right? And his face just like falls off. That's horrifying. I don't think the glue took. I mean, it's really neat to see the inner workings, but good lord, look at this. Oh, pure nightmare fuel. You're welcome.